You're not bad with money. Normal is just expensive. There's a guy named Marcus, 31 years old, doing everything right and still losing. Marcus is a marketing manager at a mid-sized company in a mid-sized city, and he makes $78,000 a year. Almost exactly the median household income in America, which means he is statistically speaking the most average person on the planet. He does not have a boat. He does not take European vacations. He packs his lunch 3 days a week. He drives a 5-year-old Honda Civic with 74,000 miles on it, and his apartment has beige walls, and he is not allowed to paint. He is not irresponsible. He is not frivolous. He is, by every reasonable definition, living a completely normal life. Marcus also checks his bank account before he goes to the grocery store every single time. His credit card balance has not hit zero in 14 months, and he has $800 in savings. Marcus is not bad with money. Normal is just expensive. Now, my name is Shan, and I have spent way too much time doing the math that makes financial advisors uncomfortable. Not because it is complicated, but because of where it lands. If you have ever done everything right and still felt like you are somehow losing, subscribe and hit the like button, because today we are going to find out exactly who can afford a normal, unremarkable, completely boat-free life in 2020. And the answer is going to make you feel a lot better about yourself and a lot worse about everything else. Let's establish what we mean by normal. Not a mansion, not a Tesla, just the basics. A place to live, a car to get to work, food, health insurance, and maybe a streaming service. So you have something to watch while you eat the food you bought with the money you earned driving the car to the job. That is the list. Here is what that list costs in 2020. One line item at a time, running total as we go, so you can feel exactly where the money disappears. Start with housing. You are renting a 1-bedroom apartment not in Manhattan, just somewhere in America. National median, rent $1,490 per month. Marcus clears $5,250 a month after taxes on his $78,000 salary, running total $3,760 left. Now the car, you found a decent used vehicle, monthly payment around $537, at an average interest rate of 11.4%. Because used car financing in 2026 is essentially a payday loan with leather seats. Add insurance at $210 per month and gas at $163, running total $2,850 left. Groceries, you are not buying luxury food. Just basic items like chicken, pasta, and vegetables on sale. The USDA calls this the Moderate Food Plan, and it costs $430 per month. That same cart cost about $340 3 years ago. Nobody changed the chicken, just the price, running total $2,420 left. Health insurance out of pocket $135. Student loans because you went to college because that is what everyone told you was necessary. To get the job that is covering all of this, $260 per month, running total $2,025 left. Utilities, internet, and phone, $325 combined, running total $1,700 left. And then subscriptions. The average American spends $219 per month, but thinks they spend about $86. That is a $133 monthly phantom expense. That is Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, a gym you visited twice, and an app that sends passive-aggressive reminders, and 3 free trials you forgot to cancel from 2023, gone silently every month, running total $1,481 left. Stop there. That is $1,481 remaining for a single adult at median income. No vacation, no dentist, no savings, nothing breaking, and that is the good news version. Here is what Marcus actually does with it. He puts $200 toward his credit card, which barely touches the interest. He spends $150 on dinners, a haircut, and a birthday gift. He tries to save $100 a month, which means at that rate, his emergency fund takes 8 years to cover 3 months of expenses. In month 3, his car needs brakes and $800 goes on the credit card. In month 6, the laptop dies and another $600 gets added. By year's end, Marcus is not building anything. He is treading water and losing ground to interest. Marcus, by the way, does not have kids, and he made that decision not because he does not want them, but because he ran the numbers. Some of you are thinking, what about 2 incomes and shared expenses? Surely that works better. I was hoping you would not ask that. It is a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 kids, with a combined income of $133,000. That puts them in the top 25% of American households. and they should be doing great. Let's watch what actually happens. Take home after taxes roughly $8,000 per month. 3-bedroom rental, $2,161. To cars, insurance, and gas, $1,600. Family health insurance, $571. Groceries for 4, $1,100. The kids exclusively want the brand name cereal. Student loans for 2 adults, $500. Utilities, internet, and phones, $375. Subscriptions, because no one can agree on what to watch, $250. Running total $1,443 left. Now add childcare, the average annual cost of center. Based infant care is $14,760 per child. Costs jumped 51.8% between 2023 and 2025 alone. 2 kids in care, at least $2,460 per month. The second income in this household is not funding a lifestyle upgrade, it is funding the child care required to earn that income. You are essentially running a nonprofit where the sole beneficiary is the daycare center. Congratulations on your charitable giving. Running total negative $1,017. This household, 2 professionals, top 25% of earners doing everything right, is running a monthly deficit. Before they have spent $1 on anything that is not survival. No retirement contributions, no school supplies, no soccer cleats, no family dinners outside survival. And here is what that actually looks like day to day. It looks like one partner quietly wondering if quitting to stay home with the kids would actually cost them money, and doing the math and realizing it genuinely might not, because the childcare bill is already consuming most of one's salary. It looks like 2 people who both work full-time, who both have careers, who come home exhausted every night, and hand the kids off to a screen because there is nothing left in the tank. It looks like we are doing fine, as a statement you say, at dinner parties, while privately dreading the next expense. These are not irresponsible people. They are not buying luxury things. They are just trying to run a family on math that does not balance. According to analysis, a family of 4 needs between $186,618 and $313,747 to live comfortably. The median household income is $83,730. You can do the subtraction yourself. Most households cannot afford a median-priced new home, and that means this is not a you problem. This is not how it has always been, and it did not happen by accident. In 1970, a single median income was enough to support a family, not barely, but actually enough. A home costs roughly 2 times annual household income. Today, that ratio is 5 times. The average first-time homebuyer is now 40 years old, up from the early to mid-30s 2 decades ago. We have essentially renamed the on-ramp the highway and told everyone they are just late to merge. Home prices up 239% since 1990, while income is up only 136%. Healthcare spending per person up 440%. College tuition up 1,200% since 1980. New car prices went from $15,000 to nearly $50,000. From 43% of income to roughly 60%, nearly $1,000 a month just to own a car. Nearly $1,000 a month just to own one, just to get to the job that is supposed to be paying for the car. I would say it is a vicious cycle, but that implies it goes in a circle. This one just goes straight down. And the thing nobody tells you is that these increases did not happen in isolation. They all happened at the same time. It was housing and healthcare and education and transportation and childcare all pulling away from wages at once, compounding against the same paycheck you were, not just falling behind in one category, the entire floor was rising at once. Here is the number that captures the whole story. From 1979 to 2025, worker productivity rose roughly 90%. Worker compensation rose about 33%. 3-to-1 ratio, and if workers had been paid proportionally, the median worker would earn about 33% more today. The gap between those numbers went somewhere. It went to shareholders and executive compensation. Executive pay went from 20-to-1 ratio in 1965 to roughly 300-to-1 today. It went to home prices that made existing owners wealthy, while everyone else fell behind. The math did not fail randomly. It failed in a very specific direction for a very specific group. The middle class has been quietly shrinking from 61% of Americans to 51%. Their share of income fell from 62% to 42%, while the top share increased significantly. Nobody sent a memo, the target just moved. Financial stress is too abstract, so let me be specific. It feels like doing math in your head at the grocery store before reaching the register. Not because you are careful, but because you are genuinely not sure. It feels like saying you are not a vacation person when you actually cannot afford to miss income. It feels like a constant low-level anxiety that follows you everywhere, like a smoke detector with a dying battery that you cannot quite reach. It feels like Marcus late at night opening his banking app just to check the number, not because he needs to, but because he needs to know. Doing the calculation, if nothing breaks this month, I should be okay, and then going to sleep and doing it again tomorrow. The statistics are bleak. 59% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency from savings. 27% have zero savings at all. The personal savings rate has fallen to around 3.5%, barely a third of the historical average. Total household debt hit a record $18.8 trillion. Credit card debt alone crossed $1.28 trillion, carried at roughly 20% interest. That is not a financial plan, that is treading water with ankle weights while someone talks about growth. And 44% of Americans earning over $100,000 still live paycheck to paycheck. 6 figures with no room every paycheck already spoken for before it arrives. That is not a discipline problem. That is a cost of living problem, leaving no margin. The math is not just changing how people feel, it is changing what they do with their lives. The fertility rate hit a record low, and most Americans say raising children is too expensive. Raising one child costs between $297,000 and $375,000. 2 kids means between $600,000 and $750,000 in lifetime costs. Nearly half of young adults now live with their parents because rent and expenses leave no room. 2/3 of the younger generation have given up on affording their ideal city. Marcus lives in his ideal city, but pays $1,490 for an apartment he cannot even paint. Every institution in the system is optimized for their outcome, not yours. And somehow you are made to feel irrational for noticing the math does not work. The system charges you hundreds of thousands and then asks if you tried budgeting. That is not a personal failure. That is a structural math problem. 2 economies exist, one doing fine and one struggling, but both facing the same prices. This is not about cutting coffee or canceling subscriptions. The numbers are too big for that to matter. Real change comes from decisions on the biggest expenses where the real money lives. Who can afford a normal life in 2026? The top 30 to 40%, everyone else is making trade-offs. You are not behind the target, moved, and margin is the only thing that turns into freedom, so protect it and grow it wherever you can.